Good evening one and all. I welcome you all to Ganesh IAS Academy. In today's session, we'll be handling environment based current affairs from the date 8th to 14th June 2023. Okay. So let us get into the news articles one by one and we'll see. The first news that we are going to see today is Sustainable Development Goal 7. Okay, we are going to focus on Sustainable Development Goal 7. What is this Sustainable Development Goal? We have to understand, and why is it in news? That also we must have to understand. We have a report titled Tracking SDG 7, that is Sustainable Development Goal 7, the Energy Progress Report 2023. Okay, so what is the report and why are we studying it? That we have to understand. This report has been released by the following agencies, okay? International Energy Agency, International Renewable Energy Agency, United Nations Statistics Divisions, World Bank, and also WHO, that is World Health Organization. All the agencies together have released this report called Tracking SDG 7, the Energy Progress Report 2023, okay? And this report highlights various challenges that hinder the progress towards achieving the goal, that is goal 7 of Sustainable Development Goals. So what all we must have to focus with respect to exam is what is Sustainable Development Goal, and in that what is particularly the 7th goal, and we must also focus on the findings of the report, okay, of this particular report that we must have to focus on. And we will also be seeing the background of Sustainable Development Goal. When was that goal adopted and what is the background? All those things will be handling. What is Sustainable Development Goal? Actually, even in our previous session, I have explained this term, that is sustainable. What is sustainable? Sustainable is something like if we have a resource now, we'll be utilizing the resource keeping in mind the future generation so that they will also enjoy the same kind of resource that we are enjoying now. Okay, such utilization of resources and such development is called as sustainable development. So Sustainable Development Goal, okay, in 2015 United Nations members came together to adopt something called as 2030 agenda, okay, for sustainable development. Okay, what was the aim? To create a harmonious and prosperous future for both humanity and the planet. So they are focusing on humans and also the planet together. Okay, sustainably we have to develop. Central to this agenda are the 17 goals. So how many goals are there under Sustainable Development Goals? We have 17 goals. That is also an important point to remember. And it has to be embraced by all nations regardless of their development status. Whatever might be their development status, be it a developed country or a developing country or an underdeveloped country, all of them have to abide by these goals. Okay, they must take efforts to achieve these goals. Okay, 17 Sustainable Development Goals. What is the background for these goals? That we have to understand. Actually, in 1992 itself, in the month of June, they conducted something called as Earth Summit, where Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, okay, and in that more than 178 countries participated and they adopted something called as Agenda 21, okay. Previously in Sustainable Development Goal, it is Agenda 2030. Sustainable Development Goal, it is Agenda 2030. Okay, now it is, earlier it was Agenda 21. What does this 21 refer to? It refers to 21st century. Okay, it signifies 21st century because it was adopted in the year 1992 itself. So what their focus was, we are approaching 21st century and we must have to focus on sustainable development before achieving the 21st century is what their focus is. Okay, where Brazil, Earth Summit. Okay, so what they have created something called Comprehensive Action Plan to build a global partnership for sustainable development to improve human lives and also protect environment. So human lives and environment together we have to sustainably grow. Okay, the member states unanimously adopted, this is in 1992. Okay, next we are moving to 2000, the year 2000. In the year 2000, we adopted something called as Millennium Development Goals, MDG. Okay, and there are 8 Millennium Development Goals, and these Millennium Development Goals also focuses on sustainable development. Other than that, the specific focus area for Millennium Development Goals was extreme poverty has to be eradicated before the year 2015 was the goal. Okay, so extreme poverty was the goal of Millennium Development Goals, and then in 2015 came the Sustainable Development Goal. Okay, so actually this year 2015 is also called as the landmark year for multilateralism. Why? Because several major agreements regarding environment was signed in that particular year. What were those? Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, Addis Ababa Action Agenda for Financing of Development, Paris Agreement on Climate Change, and also Sustainable Development Goal 2015 again. Okay, we had 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So all these goals, what is it related to? All these agreements or frameworks, what is it related to is an important topic. Okay, the year is 2015, that has to be kept in mind. What are the Sustainable Development Goals? I have been saying, right, there are 17 Sustainable Development Goals. What are they? No poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy. This is what the focus area for today's topic, because the report focuses on this particular goal. Okay, there has been many hindrance to achieve this particular goal, so we are focusing on this. And then we have other goals like decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, that is ocean life, and then life on land. Other than that, we have the last two, peace, justice and strong institution, and the last one is partnership for the goals. Okay, all these are the Sustainable Development Goals, 17 in number. 2015 was the year. So what are the recent findings that we have to focus? They are saying that there are many hindrances which are stopping the progress of the 7th goal. So what are the hindrances that we have to focus? The first hindrance that they are mentioning is uncertain macroeconomic outlook. Actually, all these hindrances are economy related, finance related. Okay, so uncertain macroeconomic outlook and high levels of inflation. Many countries are facing inflation after COVID-19. Okay, and then currency fluctuation, obvious, and then debt distress. Many countries, even country like Sri Lanka, are facing debt distress, and lack of financing, tighter fiscal circumstances and soaring prices for materials. These are the points which are hindering the progress of Sustainable Development Goal 7, particularly 7. What is that? Goal 7 is clean energy. We'll get into the details of it. Yeah. Next is Sustainable Development Goal 7. What is it? What are the targets under Goal 7? All those things we will understand. Yeah. What is this Goal 7? It calls for affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy. Okay, clean energy. This is called clean energy. It must be affordable, reliable and then sustainable and modern energy for all, for everyone in the world by the year 2030. That is the goal. That is the Goal 7. And under that Goal 7, we have sub targets. That is 7.1. That is universal access to affordable, reliable and modern energy. Okay, next is 7.2 is increase substantially the share of renewable energy. So they are focusing on renewable energy. They are asking us to focus on renewable energy. We have to increase the share of renewable energy. Next is 7.3 is double the global rate of improvement in energy efficiency. Say for example, if we are giving certain input now and then getting an output. Okay, this has to be double, which means for the same input that we are giving now, it has to be, the output that we are getting has to be double. That is called as efficiency doubling. What is efficiency actually? Efficiency is output by input, right? Output by input. This is eta, is actually a symbol for efficiency. So efficiency is output by input. So the focus is, the goal is to double the efficiency. Next we have another subcategory, that is 7.A, which is to focus on enhancing the international cooperation. Other than that, 7.B is expand infrastructure and upgrading technology, so that we must have to share those technology to developing countries, not only developing countries, also to least developed and small island developing countries. Okay, that is the focus area here. Next is progress towards specific targets. So in this report, what has been mentioned that we have to see now. Access to electricity, has it been increased? Yes. Global access to electricity increased from 84% to 91% between the year 2000 and 2021. This is mentioned in the report, but this point is also important. But the annual growth has slowed. This is because of COVID. Okay, COVID impact has created this sluggish growth in this particular goal. Other than that, the number of people without electricity decreased from 1.1 billion in the year 2010 to 675 million in 2021, which is a good thing. Okay, so the number of people without electricity is just 675 million in 2021, and now it will be even more lesser. Okay, next, the goal of universal access to electricity by 2030 remains elusive, which means they can't predict that whether we will attain this goal or not. Okay, so it remains elusive. This is the current status with respect to access to electricity. Okay, this is one of the sub goals. Next is access to clean cooking. Okay, because we are focusing on clean energy. Even in last session, the previous session, we talked about the clean energy, e-cooking and all we were discussing. Next, here people who are lacking the access of clean cooking were 2.9 billion in the year 2010. Now, in 2021, it is just 2.3 billion reduced. Okay, which means many people are getting access to clean cooking. Other than that, this point is also important. 1.9 billion people may still lack the access to clean cooking even by the year 2030, which is a worrying fact. Okay. Next is the report indicates that approximately 100 million people, this is also an important point, that is 100 million people who recently transitioned to clean cooking may revert to traditional biomass usage because they are finding it difficult to use those clean cooking methods and they couldn't afford it to. Okay, so that is where the problem comes, because there is no proper financing from the government side. Next is Sub-Saharan Africa is expected to have highest number of people without access to clean cooking by the year 2030. What is Sub-Saharan Africa? This area. Okay, this is the total Africa. In that, the greenish area, the shaded greenish area alone is Sub-Saharan Africa. That is any country which is to the south of Sahara Desert is called as Sub-Saharan Africa. Actually, in African continent, we have 55 countries, and of that, nearly 46 to 49. Why is it 46 to 49? Because some international organization recognizes 46 countries only as Sub-Saharan Africa and others recognize 49. Okay. So it is in the range 46 to 49. Countries are Sub-Saharan Africa. What they are saying, these countries may not get clean cooking fuels even by 2030 is what they are saying in this report. Next, renewable energy target. In that, renewable energy uptake has grown. Yes, we are moving towards renewable energy since 2010, but then we need substantial scaling up, which means we need to improve the share of renewable energy. The share of renewable energy in total, now it is just 19.1%. Okay, of the total energy that we are consuming or that we are using now, only 19.1% is renewable energy. But then we must have to increase this number. That is, we must have to increase the renewable energy use. And it also requires investment of 1.4 to 1.7 trillion US dollars annually so that we can substantially move to renewable energy by the year 2030. Okay. Next is energy efficiency. Regarding energy efficiency, what did we see? That we have to double the energy efficiency is what the goal is. But are we on track? No, we are not on track to to double the energy efficiency by the year 2030. Again, a worrying fact. Next is international public finance flows. This is the important point with respect to this particular report, because financial flows supporting clean energy is in developing countries have declined since 2020 because of COVID-19 impact. Okay, so this is again a fact which is hindering the progress. Now let us face a question. Consider the following pairs. From the discussion that we have made so far, we'll see a couple of questions. Consider the following pairs: agreements of frameworks and its objective. Sendai framework, climate change. Paris agreement, financing for development. Addis Ababa agreement, that is disaster risk reduction. Are they matched correctly? How many of the above pairs are correctly matched? Actually, all of them are wrongly matched, because Sendai framework is disaster risk reduction, Paris agreement is climate change, and then Addis Ababa is financing for development. So none is the answer for this particular question. So questions like this may also be asked. So why have we clubbed these three agreements together? Because all the three agreements were signed in the year 2015. Okay, so questions like this are also important. Next question is, consider the following findings of the recent report titled Tracking SDG 7. Okay, the Energy Progress Report 2023. The first statement is, global access to electricity increased between the year 2010 and 2021. Did we see the same statement? Yes, it is a correct statement. Next, more than 1 billion people may lack access to clean cooking by 2030. Yes, this also we saw. To be very specific, 1.9 billion people. 1.9 billion people will lack access to clean cooking even by the year 2030. The next statement is, financial flows supporting clean energy in developing countries have improved since 2020. Has it improved? No. From the report, it has declined. Actually, it has declined. So this statement is wrong. How many of the above statements are correct? Only two statements are correct, that is statement 1 and 2, and the third statement is wrong, because the financial flows has declined since 2020. The next topic or the next news that we are going to see is ground level ozone. So Sustainable Development Goal 7 in particular, how a Sustainable Development Goal emerged from the year 1992, that is from Earth Summit to Millennium Development Goal, and then to Sustainable Development Goal in the year 2015, and it has a target year of 2030. All these are important. Okay. Other than that, under Sustainable Development Goal 7, what are the sub targets that we have, and in the recent report, what are the findings that has been reported? All those things are important with respect to exam, both mains and prelims. Okay. Next topic is ground level ozone. What is ground level ozone? What is the news? That we'll understand first, and then we'll get into the technical details. According to a news analysis by Center for Science and Environment, parts of Delhi NCR region witnessed ground level ozone. Okay, ground level ozone exceeding the national standards. We have a standard for ground level ozone, and it is exceeding on 87 out of 92 days between March and May in 2023. Between March and May, those 3 months, we have 92 days, and in that 87 days, ozone level has exceeded the the national standard and also the global standard. Okay, the analysis is based on the data from Central Pollution Control Board. Okay, and what is this Center for Science and Environment? It is a public interest research and advocacy organization which is based in New Delhi. This is the background of the news. Now we'll get into the details of what is ozone, what is ground level ozone. Is it the same as the ozone which is in the stratosphere, that is the ozonosphere that we have? That we'll discuss. Okay. good and bad ozone. They are categorizing it as good ozone and bad ozone. So what is good ozone? Ozone occurs in two layers of the atmosphere. Atmosphere has multiple layers, right? Say this is Earth. We have troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and also exosphere. Okay, this is tropo, strato, meso, thermo, exo. Okay, among these spheres, in troposphere and in stratosphere, we are having ozone. Okay, ozone occurs in two layers of the atmosphere. The layer closest to the Earth's surface is troposphere. We are well aware of it. And here we have something called ground level ozone, which is a bad ozone because it is an air pollutant here. In troposphere, that is the immediate sphere above the Earth's surface, their ozone is a pollutant, air pollutant. That is why we are classifying it as bad ozone, and then it is harmful to breathe and it damages crops, trees and other vegetation, and it is also a main ingredient of urban smoke. We'll be discussing about urban smoke or smog. Also, we'll be discussing today. What is smog? Smog is smoke plus fog is smog. Okay. Next, and then we have stratosphere. In stratosphere, we have something called good ozone layer, okay, which extends up to this height, that is 6 to 30 miles height is stratosphere, which protects the life on Earth from the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. Actually, sun emits its radiation. All of the radiation are going to approach Earth's surface, and in that only ultraviolet radiations are getting absorbed and rest all are transmitted to Earth's surface. Okay, and these ultraviolet radiations are getting absorbed where? In ozonosphere. Okay, also called as stratosphere. Okay, a part of stratosphere is ozonosphere. Ozone is produced naturally. Now we'll understand. Actually, the topic for today is ground level ozone. But then, since we are studying ozone, let us also discuss ground level ozone. Okay, let us also discuss the ozone which is in stratosphere, which is protecting us from harmful ultraviolet radiation. That also let us discuss. The ozone is produced naturally in stratosphere, yes, but this good ozone is gradually being depleted by man-made chemicals called as ozone depleting substances. So what are the ozone depleting substances that we have? Hydrofluorocarbons, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, hydrobromofluorocarbons, bromochloromethane, halogens, methyl bromide, carbon tetrachloride and methyl chloroform. All these are called as ozone depleting substances. Okay, very important. And where are they used? Generally, these substances are used by human beings. Okay, they are of anthropogenic nature, I mean origin, which means humans are producing it. They are used as coolants, they are used as a foaming agent, fire extinguisher, solvent, pesticide, aerosol propellant. Everywhere we are using these chlorofluorocarbons, these ozone depleting substances, and they are causing ozone depletion. Now we'll consider this question. This is 2023 prelims question, recent, I mean this year prelims question. Consider the following: aerosol, foam agent, fire retardant, lubricant. In the making of how many of the above hydrofluorocarbons are used? Just in the previous slide we saw, in all of these application hydrofluorocarbons are used. So the answer for this would be 4, all 4. Okay, so such easy questions were also asked. Now we'll get into the topic again. How is this ozone getting depleted in the stratosphere? Ozone depletion is something we are talking in the stratosphere. In troposphere, ozone is a pollution. That distinction you must have to keep in mind. In stratosphere, how is this depletion occurring? All of those compounds that we saw all had either bromine or chlorine. Okay, this bromine and chlorine will act as a catalyst for this depletion. How is it going to happen? This chlorine will react with O3. O3 is ozone. Okay, O2 is oxygen and O3 is ozone. This chlorine is going to react with ozone, and then it is going to give rise to oxygen and then chlorine monoxide. So how would the reaction be? Chlorine plus O3, that is ozone, will give you chlorine monoxide and then oxygen. What would be the next step? There is chlorine monoxide, right? This chlorine monoxide will react with oxygen atom, okay, and then it will form another oxygen molecule and a fresh chlorine atom, okay. So this is how the cycle continues. So see here, it is very critical to notice this here. We are starting with chlorine and then we are also ending with chlorine, which means it is acting as a catalyst. It can be regenerated from the process, okay. We are using chlorine and then the chlorine is regenerated from the process. Again it will go for the another reaction. So this is how the ozone is getting depleted in a faster rate in stratosphere. So this reaction is very important. A question based on this may be asked. So the ozone is getting destructed into oxygen molecules, okay. This must be clear. Next is, what are the global initiatives to curb depletion of ozone? This is stratospheric ozone, okay. Sorry. Stratospheric ozone is what we are talking here. In the year 1985, we had something called as Vienna Convention for the protection of ozone layer, the first convention which focuses on the protection of ozone layer. And in the year 1987, we had Montreal Protocol on substance that deplete ozone layer, okay. This has been signed by 197 parties, okay, in the year 1987, and it focuses on ozone depleting substances. Here the focus is generally on protecting ozone layer. It is like creating awareness among the member states of United Nations. But here they are particularly focusing on the ozone depleting substance, that they have identified that these are the substances which are being a culprit which is depleting ozone layer, okay. Next, in the year 2016, we had something called as Kigali Amendment, and this amendment was to Montreal Protocol only, okay. They have particularly focused on something called as HFC, that is hydrofluorocarbons, okay. They said that we must have to phase out hydrofluorocarbons from the use little by little as fast as possible, okay. So all these protocols, the years very important. 1985 Vienna Convention, 1987 Montreal Protocol, and then 2016 Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol, okay. All these are related to ozone depletion, okay. Everything has to be kept in mind. Next is ground level ozone. This is the topic for the day actually, okay. So far we were discussing about the ozone which is in stratosphere. Now we are going to focus on ozone, ground level ozone. It is also called as tropospheric ozone. Like I said, we have Earth, troposphere and then stratosphere. Here you have a part of stratosphere is also called as ozonosphere. Ozonosphere or stratospheric ozone, and inside troposphere we have ground level ozone, that is a pollutant here, okay. The distinction has to be very clear. This ozone is a colorless and highly irritating gas that forms near the Earth's surface, typically within 2 miles above the ground, okay. And then it is not directly emitted from any particular source. That is also important. It is not directly emitted, but then it is formed by a complex interaction between nitrogen oxides and volatile organic compounds and also carbon monoxide, okay. So what are all is there? Nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide and then volatile organic compounds. All these three are having complex interactions in the presence of sunlight. That is also important. This is a cyclic reaction and it occurs in the presence of sunlight. It is very important. Sunlight will act as a catalyst here, okay. In the presence of sunlight only this reaction will be occurring in a faster way, okay. How is the reaction happening? We'll see here. Like I said, this is the stratospheric ozone and then this is the tropospheric ozone, which is the pollutant. Formation of ground level ozone, how is it happening? Oxides of nitrogen we have, and we also have volatile organic compounds in the presence of sunlight, especially during spring and summer season. We have heavy sun rays and there is also conditions like low RH and light winds. That is, relative humidity has to be very low, which means it has to be, the condition has to be drier, okay, then only we'll be creating ozone, ground level ozone, a pollutant. Next, we have something called photochemical smog. Already in the previous slide, we mentioned that this ozone, that is ground level ozone, is one of the main ingredients of smog, is what we saw. So what is that smog? Where is it forming? How is it formed? We have to understand. Actually, it is a brownish gray haze. It is like a smoke, okay, which is caused by interaction of solar ultraviolet radiation on the atmosphere, which is polluted with hydrocarbons and oxides of nitrogen. Okay, here you have hydrocarbons and oxides of nitrogen. It contains anthropogenic air pollutants, mainly ozone, nitric acid, and then organic compounds. These are the constituents of photochemical smog. These are the causative agents of photochemical smog. You must have to understand the difference. In the next slide, I'll explain it pictographically. Okay. These pollutants and also some other can affect human health and cause damage to plants. Yes, obvious. And photochemical smog often has unpleasant odor. Okay, it has unpleasant smell due to some gaseous compounds. See, this is the reaction. We have nitrogen dioxide in particular, and in that, when it is acted upon by solar radiation, the heat radiation, it will form nitric oxide and then oxygen atom. This oxygen atom will react with molecular oxygen. Okay, this is oxygen atom O, and this is molecular oxygen O2. O and O2 will form O3, that is ozone. This is one of the constituents of photochemical smog. Yes, we have. Next is nitric acid. How is nitric acid formed? When water reacts with nitrogen dioxide, we get nitric acid, that is HNO3. So H2O plus NO2, we get HNO3. And then we have something called hydrocarbons. These oxygen atoms will react with hydrocarbons to form aldehydes, and also these nitrogen compounds will react with oxygen atoms and hydrocarbons to form something called as PANs. Okay, what are PANs? PANs. PANs is peroxyl peroxyacetyl nitrates. Peroxyacetyl nitrates. Okay, this is again an important ingredient of photochemical smog. So what is photochemical smog composed of? It has nitric acid, it has PANs, that is peroxyacetyl nitrite, it has aldehydes, and also ozone. So this ground level ozone, this ozone here is the ground level ozone. Okay, so the ground level ozone is an important ingredient of photochemical smog. Okay, a question may be framed from this also. Okay, what are the constituents of photochemical smog? You must be aware of the constituents. Next thing is, like we had Vienna Convention, Montreal Protocol and Kigali Amendment for depletion of ozone which is in the stratosphere, we also have a convention or a protocol for the ground level ozone. Okay, that is called as Gothenburg Protocol. This protocol not only focuses on ground level ozone, but it also focuses on other things like acidification and eutrophication. That is, we have to reduce acidification, eutrophication and ground level ozone. These three areas are the concern areas. Okay, when was this protocol signed? In the year 1999, and it is also called as multi-effect protocol because it focuses on multiple pollutants. Okay, not only ground level ozone, it also focuses on other pollutants which causes acidification and eutrophication. So here, what are the chemicals that are of concern? Sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, volatile organic compounds and ammonia. Okay, all these are important, and in the year 2012 they have also included particulate matter under this protocol. Okay, so now we also have PM, particulate matter. And then the commitment year was 2020. The target year was 2020. Is India a signatory of this protocol? No, India is not a signatory of this particular protocol. Okay, Gothenburg Protocol. So Gothenburg Protocol is related to ground level ozone. Vienna, Montreal and Kigali is related to stratospheric ozone. This differentiation you must have to keep in mind. Recent findings, what have they found in the recent report? Because they are saying that the ozone level has exceeded in Delhi region, right? So what have they found? Actually, when compared to the past 5 years, in 2023 this ground level ozone was lower only, but then the duration of exceedance has increased. What is the duration of exceedance? That is, only when you have sunshine time, okay, typically 8 hours, the strong time when we face heavy sunlight, that period is called sunshine time, and during this time only the ground level ozone will be produced. But then what is the problem that we are facing now? That is, we have elevated ozone level persist even after hours of sunset. Even after sunset we are facing high levels of ground level ozone. Okay, that is why it is being a matter of concern. And WHO air quality guidelines has given a particular standard, that is 100 microgram per meter cube, that is approximately 50 parts per billion, measured as 8-hour maximum. That in that 8 hours this much of ozone level can be there. If it is going to go beyond 8, then it is a matter of concern and it is a problem in a particular day. Okay, but then in India we are facing increase actually. That is the issue now. Next, it is also not specific to seasons. Okay, since we are again and again saying that sunlight is a requirement for the production of ozone, but then it is not limited to specific seasons like summer or spring seasons. Even during winter months where you have cold, foggy conditions, even at that season you have high levels of ground level ozone. Okay, so it is not season specific. Another thing is, it is having an impact on specific area. What are those areas? New Delhi and South Delhi. And what is the impact? The ground level ozone is significant air pollutant and can have harmful impact on human health, vegetation and also our ecosystem. These are the impacts that ground level ozone has. Next is, what are the initiatives that has been taken by Indian government to curb this ozone? We have something called Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR region, that is National Capital Region, and also its adjoining areas. Next, we have Bharat Stage 6. Okay, we actually jumped from Bharat Stage 4 to directly Bharat Stage 6. This is a good thing that we have done. Next is, we have Dashboard for Monitoring Air Quality in Delhi and National Air Quality Program of India, National Air Quality Index to measure the chemicals, the harmful emissions, and then we have an act called Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1981. So all these initiatives have been taken to curb the emissions, like the harmful emissions like carbon monoxide or nitrogen oxide, which are being a causative agents for ground level ozone production. Next is a fact based on ozone, that is International Day for Preservation of Ozone Layer is celebrated on this date, that is September 16. Okay, a fact which can be remembered. Consider the following statement, a question based on the topic that we discussed so far. Consider the following statement: methyl bromide, carbon tetrachloride, carbon monoxide, methyl chloroform, and then nitrogen dioxide. How many of the above are ozone depleting substances? We already saw a detailed list of ODS, right? Ozone depleting substances. So of these, methyl bromide, yes, bromine, carbon tetrachloride, chlorine, carbon monoxide has to be considered, methyl chloroform, yes, chloroform, chlorine, nitrogen dioxide, it has to be considered. Okay, Actually, carbon monoxide and nitrogen dioxide are not ozone depleting substances, but the other three are ozone depleting substances. So how many of the above? Only 3. 1, 2 and 4 are ozone depleting substances, whereas 3 and 5 are not ozone depleting substances. Such questions may be asked. Next we have World Ocean Day. Okay, World Ocean Day is celebrated on which date? June 8th. Okay, why are we celebrating? To create awareness among people regarding the significance of oceans and then the importance of preserving and conserving oceanic resources. And this year's theme is Planet Ocean, Tides Are Changing. Okay, such questions have also been asked in the past, that is, if there is a celebration happening for a particular day which is of environmental significance, then what was the theme of that particular year or the previous year? Such questions have been asked in the past. So for this year the theme is Planet Ocean, Tides Are Changing. Next, few facts regarding ocean. Yes, ocean covers 70% of the planet. This is a well established fact. Next is, ocean produces at least 50% of planet's oxygen. Yes, and it is home to most of the Earth's biodiversity. You have plenty of fish varieties in ocean. Okay, so it is the home to most of the Earth's biodiversity, and then it is also a main source of protein for more than 1 billion people around the world. Statement like these may be asked in the prelims examination, so you must have to focus. Next, ocean is also a key to our environment, with estimated 40 million people being employed by ocean-based industries by the year 2030. Okay, by the year 2030, nearly 40 million people will be employed in fish-based, ocean-based industries. The next topic that we are going to focus is spotted pond turtles. Why is it in news? 3 persons engaged as mahots. Who are mahots? Mahots are elephant keepers. Okay, where in Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve in Assam have been arrested for capturing and consuming spotted pond turtles, a rare species of freshwater turtle. They are catching and consuming these turtles, which are endangered species actually. So they have been arrested. So we must have to get into the details of what is spotted turtle and also about the location, that is Kaziranga National Park. First we'll understand about the spotted pond turtle. Spotted pond turtle, also called as Gleoclemis hamiltoni. Gleoclemis hamiltoni. Okay, it is named for its yellow and white spots. I'll show you the picture. And it is also known as black pond turtle, black spotted turtle, or Hamilton's terrapin. This term terrapin usually refers to turtles. Okay, and they bask in sun to regulate their body temperature. Okay, they come to sun and then to get their body the body heated, they come to basking. Okay, that process is called as basking. Okay, these are the turtles. Okay, spotted pond turtle. This is how it will be. Next, where are they found? The range and its habitat. They are found in large and deep rivers in India, Pakistan and Bangladesh. So this is important, location wise important. And then in India, the species is distributed across north, northeast and also few parts of central India. Important. Next is dietary requirements, like what is it consuming. These turtles are actually carnivorous. Okay, they eat meat. Okay, they eat aquatic invertebrate. Next, their sleeping habits. Why are we focusing on such information, such details, whether they are omnivorous or carnivorous, whether they are going to sleep in the daytime or in the night time? Such questions have also been asked in the UPSC prelims. So we have to focus on such details also. So spotted pond turtles are crepuscular. This word is important because in the recent, let us see the question. Since we saw that term crepuscular, what is crepuscular? Meaning they are most active during twilight. That is during the dawn and the dusk. Okay, when the sun rises and also the sun sets. Okay, that is called as dusk and dawn, right? So during those time only these turtles will be active, and that habit is called as that is animals being active at those time, that is during twilight, are called as crepuscular. Why are we focusing on such minute informations also? Because questions based on this such terms have also been asked. Consider this. Consider the following fauna: lion-tailed macaque, Malabar civet, and then sambar deer. How many of the above are generally nocturnal? See, nocturnal. Or most active after sunset. Okay, so such questions are also, such areas are also important with respect to prelims. And to answer this particular question, lion-tailed macaque is not nocturnal, but these two are nocturnal, which means they are active after sunset. So the answer for this is only 2. Now coming back to the region where we were, yes, their sleeping habits crepuscular, which means they are active during twilight. Next is conservation status. IUCN conservation status, it is endangered. Okay, and then in CITES, that is Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, they are under Appendix 1. So all these points are important with respect to spotted pond turtle. Next, where is it found? Kaziranga National Park. So National Park also becomes important. Facts related National Park will be seeing now. Where is it located? In the state of Assam? Yes, it is the single largest undisturbed area in the Brahmaputra Valley. Okay, and then what is its legal status? It was like, it has become National Park in the year 1974, and then it got Tiger Reserve status in the year 2007, and it is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Which one? Kaziranga National Park. And then it is recognized as an important bird area by BirdLife International. So all these points are important. It is a national park, it is a tiger reserve, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is also a important bird area as recognized by BirdLife International. Okay, so all these points are important. Next, important species which are found in this particular national park, Kaziranga National Park. One-horned rhinos. Okay, it has the largest population of greater one-horned rhinos in the world. Nearly 90% of one-horned rhinos are in Kaziranga National Park. Other than that, we also have something called Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary. This sanctuary harbors highest density of rhino in the world. Okay, here it is the largest number in total, but here you have highest density. Okay, which is number in a particular area. Okay, and the second highest concentration of rhino in Assam after Kaziranga. Okay, next is in Kaziranga we also have conservation of these 4 species called Big 4. What are they? Rhino, elephant, Royal Bengal tiger, Asiatic water buffalo. Okay, next next, Kaziranga is also home to 9 of 14 species of primates found in Indian subcontinent. Okay, what are primates? Primates are monkeys. Okay, rivers and highways inside this national park. Okay, National Highway 37 passes through this, and also a river, Diflu, passes through this national park. Why are we focusing this information? Yes, again, questions based on national highways which is passing through a particular national park, or a river which is passing through a particular national park has been asked. So we have to focus on such information also. Okay, so with this we have come to end of today's session, and these are the animals, that is the big 4 we saw, right? Big 4. These are the big 4 which are conserved in Kaziranga National Park: one-horned rhino, elephant, Royal Bengal tiger, and then buffalo. Okay, Asiatic water buffalo. So yes, we have come to end of today's session. I hope you found the session to be